All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and great glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations to the elect pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth in truth and in sincerity. All right, in this particular video, we're going to be touching on what's going on right now between the United States and Iran. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to news, today they're coming to the negotiating table, and I'm talking about the United States and Iran, to talk about a nuclear deal. Now, it's already projected that these nuclear talks are going to 100% fail. Why? It's because they're both negotiating red lines. What is a red line? A red line is something that you state that basically that's non-negotiable. All right, so an Iranian red line would be in the negotiations that we could talk about a lot, but we're not talking about getting rid of my nuclear program or my missile ballistic program or the stopping of enriching of uranium. All right, we're not talking about that, but we could talk about a lot of other things. Well, America is saying no at this negotiating table. That's exactly what the fuck we gonna talk about. So we already know before these negotiations even happen that they're going to fail. Now, what's with the whole dance and song going on right now? Well, it's for the world stage. It's for the people. All right? These boneheads here would be like, hey, man, look, Iran, they killing protesters. They got a nuclear weapon. We can't allow them to get a nuclear weapon, and Trump gave them a chance. That's how regular people going to think about it. But we that's in the know, we know this is prophecy. All right? That we're at the end of this thing. That World War III is initiating, man. Now, we ain't at the climax of World War III, but it is starting, man. And always think about this. Have this always in, not the back of your mind, but always have this in your mind. If we're this close to World War III, how close are we to the MOTB? All right? Because MOTB has to be implemented first on a large scale before World War III really reaches its climax. Nukes start flying and shit like that. So always remember that. But in this particular video right here, we want to have Steve Rand break down that, yeah, man, these negotiations are basically going to lead to nowhere, man. As you can see, it says breaking. Trump says U.S. is prepared for Iranian retaliation. Are we headed for war? I say yay. Because they already know that these attacks, these negotiations are bullshit. So Trump is threatening that we're going to attack you, and Iran is like, well, we're ready for an attack back. We're ready to retaliate, and it's going to be a regional war. All right, a regional war, which means that they're going to attack U.S. bases in different places, Iraq, and they're also going to try to wipe out Israel, too. They're going to bomb the shit out of Israel. This is what they mean. So Trump is saying that they're ready for an attack on a retaliation. But you see, let's get this real quick. But you see that Iran is not Venezuela. All right? Venezuela don't have hypersonic missiles. Venezuela really don't have too much of anything. Now, Persia, the mighty men of Persia, or the Iranians, don't forget, Persia changed its name to Iran in 1935, right? Before that, they were the mighty men of Persia. They still have that spirit. They're not no pushovers, all right? Remember the Medo-Persian Empire? Come on, man. But yeah, man, these are, and Israel even calls them the mighty men of Persia. They're not just pushovers, so you just can't go in there like you did Venezuela. Tactical helicopters and so forth. Iran got special forces too. They got other, case in point, Elon Musk, which we found out in the Epstein files. Elon Musk and Donald Trump knew each other back in 2009 or some shit like that. So don't act like Donald Trump just hit the office and thought, hey, this is nerd named Elon Musk. We're going to give him the Department of Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, and allow him to help me out with spinning. They say he's smart at this. No, they been knew each other, man. It was on the Epstein Island. Well, Elon said he refused to go. That's neither here nor there. But I bring up Elon Musk to say he shot rockets up trying to hook up his Starlink. His Starlink is going to be a big global, I'll say it again, global surveillance system. And he tried to launch that over Iran while you have Trump surrounding Iran for now. And Trump and Iran shot jammers up to jam the signal, so basically rendering them useless. They, stopping the jamming the communications and shit. All right, and there's news that came out that they actually got these jammers from Russia, and this is Ezekiel 38 jumping off of the page, prophecy once again, that Russia is playing a guard to these little nations. All right, but yeah, man, we got things heating up, man. All right, and Iran, once again, the point is, it's not no pushover type cats, man. It's not going to be no go in there and you kidnap the supreme leader and you haul ass out. Now it's going to be some shit going down over there, man. Let's not forget, Iran struck the U.S. last. All right. It's Jeremiah 50:45, and we read, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that ye have taken against Babylon," which is America, and a purpose, and his purposes, Salakia, that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, which is the wise men of Babylon. Surely, and that's Babylon talking about America. Surely the least of the flock, which is the tiny tops, Amalek, shall draw them, who's a them, America, out to what? World war. And we saw that happen. How? From their skirmish with Iran, man. Them bombing each other and the proxy groups running in there, October 7th, stealing people. Them continually just slaughtering their proxy groups, committing genocide, and because them running and how would you say, Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza, but who occupies Gaza? That's a territory of one of the proxy groups of Iran. All right, so it's a lot going down, man. I think Hamas actually is over Palestine, so it's active war going on in there right now, man. Salaki, where was that? I shall draw them out. Right, the least of the flock and tiny top shall draw them out. America out to what? World war. All right, and we're in the season for World War. In the book of Revelations 11 and 14, I believe, it says the second woe has passed, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, those woes are getting into what? World War. And if you go back into the First World War, when the First World War ended, that was like 1918 or 1919. All right, 1918 to 2026 is not that long. We're in the season. Don't forget, World War I happened, World War II happened. We're in the season. I believe World War II ended what? 1945 or 1946. You see, we're in the season. Since the second war is past, the third war cometh what? Quickly. All right? It's the season. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. All right, man. Now let's see what the world believes these negotiations are going to produce, man. Is you think Iran is going to really sign off on the deal? No, we know that's not, man. And do we know that America and Israel are actually trying to get them to sign a deal in good faith? We know that that's not happening either. So when you throw all this into a pot and start to mix these degrees together, you got disaster, you got war, you got conflict. All right? And we also have Iran talking about sleeper cells and sleeper cells being brought up. All right? And 2nd Ezra 15:33 talks about actual attack over here in United States soil. And when that attack happens, it's going to shake America, man. And if Trump is the sitting president, hey, you can pretty much hear him declare martial law already. Anyway, let's hop into this video.
We're hearing that the United States is preparing for Iranian military action, retaliatory attacks, as a result of the U.S. preparing to attack Iran. And we're hearing that the negotiations taking place tomorrow, Friday, they're likely going to fail. Take a look at the latest headlines with me so you can see it for yourself. The U.S. and Iran, they agree on holding talks, but they don't agree on much else. The two sides remain at odds over what will even be discussed in Oman. Talks are on the brink. Why Iran and the U.S. negotiations inspire very little confidence. This coming out from the Iranian international news. Also, Israel estimates there is a slim prospect for U.S.-Iran agreement in Oman talks. We're hearing already they are saying they anticipate these talks are going to fail and we are going to end up in attacks. Now, Kushner and Witkoff to lead the U.S.-Iran talks in Oman. This is Trump's son-in-law. Arab allies still on edge ahead of U.S.-Iran talks. Hope their warnings have broken through. We're hearing the Middle East is concerned that things are about to get messy. The U.S. may soon strike Iran. Here's why that's a big deal. Missile barrages and cyber operations. Iran outlines multi-front war plan against the United States. We're hearing there could be cyber attacks, missile attacks, an assortment of different warnings coming out. And as we know, Iranian sleeper cells and warnings coming out from the Pentagon.
Boom. Cyber attacks, and he's just getting into sleeper cells. Now, I want to grab a scripture. You know, Zeke, I'm at 2nd Ezra 15:33. You know, I said it, but I want to prove it. I want to go grab it after he's finished. But, hey, we're in these times, man. Meanwhile, our people are worrying about the same old, debaucherous shit. They're worrying about committing adultery, doing drugs, shaking their ass, just murdering on each other. Just low vibrational ass shit, bro. While we have World War III escalating over there in the so-called Middle East. And that's right, I said so-called Middle East. All right? But yeah, man. See, we got prophecy literally jumping off of the page, and this is not just one, prophecy. This is shit, you can find this in the book of Jeremiah. You can find this in Isaiah. All right? Well, not multiple spots in the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 50, 45. And that same chapter 50, you go to when it starts talking about World War III. 50 and I believe 9 and 14. How World War III is going to end. And the reason I even talked about Jeremiah 59 and also 14, and that's getting into nuclear missiles to everybody that bends the bow. It's because I remember some few years back, when me and the brothers was prophesying out there, man, we was talking about how everybody was going to shoot nukes on America, and somebody might ask, well, you have America that has allies that are nuclear powers, and France being one of them. And I remember saying, well, that's the point, of us saying that's called prophecy. All right, we are to say before. We're telling you right now that America and France are going to be at odds in the future. They're no longer going to be allies. Lo and behold, we see Trump trying to take over Greenland, and then France stepping up, saying that they're going to defend it, and also NATO saying that they can make a bigger and better NATO, but without America, and the EU nations hating the whore, man, and France being a part of that, saying, look, we'll take up arms against the United States. And that's a nuclear power, right? So that's prophecy jumping off of the page, man. All right, we got Ezekiel 38 jumping off of the page. We got Russia being a guard to these little nations. We got Joel chapter 3, 9, and 10. We got the weak saying that they're strong as they're gaining up their military might, which is trying to achieve nuclear capabilities, which we saw one of the weaklings, North Korea, actually gain that military might. In Trump's first term, he was over there trying to push around Kim Jong-un like he's doing Iran right now. But then he lost the elections to Joe Biden, and guess what? Kim Jong-un obtained nuclear capabilities, so now he don't say nothing to Kim Jong-un. Now that his second term is arrived, he'll say nothing. He act like Kim Jong Un don't exist, but Kim Jong Un always got Trump name in his mouth. All right, he even sent troops over there to help the Russians fight against the Ukrainians, man. Anyway, we got prophecy jumping off of the page, but anyway, let's hop more into it.
Of attacks on the U.S. homeland. Now, Trump says that Iran's supreme leader should be very worried right now ahead of the U.S.
Salakia. Let's get it. Second Ezra 15:33, and we read, "And from the land of the Assyrians," let's talk about America, "shall the enemy besiege them." Enemy talking about one of these Ishmaelite terrorist groups or one of these Iranian groups, sleeper cells. All right. Now we already are having information come out. Slovakia. We already having information come out saying that sleeper cells are over here already, and attacks have been threatened, and all of that. Man, they even ran down on some of them, and they got facial recognition technology from them, and also pictures of certain locations, man. So they're over here already. This is not a speculation. This is documented, right? It says, and consume some of them a terrorist attack, whether this be a multi-location terrorist attack, which is in multiple cities and multiple states, whether it's that mixed with other things, because we heard that they wanted to do detonations in multiple states. Also, they wanted suicide bombers to jump out of planes and just explode in crowds of people, and basically ground forces out there shooting people, dressing up like the police, shooting ICE agents. And their goal was to at least kill about 4,000 people. All right, so we heard that. That's documented. All right. So when it says and consume some of them, we're talking about a pretty massive attack, and their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Right, it's going to shake America, and America's going to be scrambling to figure out what to do next. And if Trump is the sitting president still, martial law will be declared. I'm talking about war. All right. All right, let's get back to this.
Now, ahead of the U.S.
Hold on.
U.S.-Iranian talks. Hope for U.S.-Iran talks shaken by drone and gunboats and new demands. We're hearing that, yes, in the past couple of days, there have been a lot of issues, a lot of tension building surrounding the United States and Iran agrees to discuss proxy terror, ballistic missile arsenal in the U.S. negotiations. And they don't want us involved, though, Trump says. Trump says that Iran will negotiate because it is afraid of war with the United States, which we're hearing is likely right around the corner. And take a look at this. Satellite images revealed the buildup of the U.S. fighter jets and missile defenses ahead of the U.S.-Iran nuclear talks. We're hearing that what is being seen right now from space is massive. We're hearing that right now all over. The United States has that armada, that flotilla, Trump said, that is ready to attack. And take a look at this. Iran unveils missile threat. As U.S. talks begin, Israeli officials say Trump is not going to blink. Man, let me know your thoughts. And almost all of these articles coming out today within the last 24 hours, February the 5th, 2026. Things are getting tense right now. Tomorrow are the talks, and we're going to be seeing where we go from here. And I'm going to play for you some video footage where they're saying Trump is not going to operate the same way Obama did and let this drag out forever. They said he is going to need some answers right away, and if not, he is going to attack. And we're here.
We also have Russia playing a guard to Iran. Russia has countermeasures in place in case of an attack. And if there comes real blows between Iran and the U.S., Russia will step in at a greater capacity, pursuing Ezekiel 38.
that Israel believes it, Iran believes it, Saudi Arabia, all of the nations in the Middle East are concerned. We're about to enter into war right now because as we're going into these talks, it looks like there is no agreement on anything except for the fact that they're going to talk. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are we about to enter into war? We're hearing that this could break out into a regional war, and Trump has said if we don't get an agreement on your nuclear materials, we're going to find out if it breaks out into a regional war because we will strike. And we're hearing the U.S. is preparing for a strike and is preparing for a retaliatory strike back from Iran. So we're hearing that things are about to break out here in the Middle East. Now, if you think we're going to war, drop war in the comments. If you think we're going to have peace, put peace. Let me know your thoughts, but I'm about to get you caught up on the latest so that way you know exactly what is going on. And we're going to watch a lot of video footage and articles that have been coming out just today. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick...
Hey, when you read these comments, you see America divided, man. You got some people for Trump, other people not for him, man. Some people for Iran, other people for America. Hey, man. The kingdom divided amongst itself shall not stand. House divided amongst itself shall not stand, man. And America is divided. This is why we're seeing talks of civil war. Shit, look at what's happening in Minnesota and Minneapolis. I believe they still on in Portland. Hey, man. America is divided. Shall not stand.
Favor, if you appreciate the updates, please take a second, hit that thumb. Really helps out while we're live streaming all day now with all the stuff going on. And I cite all the sources. I'm going to put it on the screen, read right from it, play for you the video footage, hyperlink it in the description so you can click it, go read it for yourself. Know, rest assured that this is the latest information that is coming out here. And again, if you appreciate that, hit the like button, check out the articles section. So we're hearing not only is the U.S. prepared to attack, but the U.S. anticipates we are going to be attacked back, and they are getting prepared for that. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Hey, the weak saying that they're strong. See? The U.S. is saying, these motherfuckers are going to hit back. And Iran will. So when they, shoot missiles back, if they kill any U.S. soldiers, hey, and they're going to attack Israel. Israel's right there. See, America's sending flotillas over, which is nothing but a fleet of naval forces, naval ships, a flotilla or armada over there. But Trump is a long way from home, man. America's a long way from home now. Israel was right next door. So, hey, we're going to see how this is going to unravel.
Look,
should the supreme leader in Iran be worried right now?
I would say he should be very worried, yeah. He should be. As you know, they're negotiating with us. They were thinking about starting a new site in a different part of the country. We found out about it. I said, you do that, we're going to do very bad things to you.
Yep, that's the latest from the president yesterday, speaking with NBC News. So let's take a quick look at what's at stake and who the players are in the Middle East now, where we could be looking at another conflict. First off, two incidents happened 2 days ago. First off, the Iranian boats threatened a tanker. We have a merchant ship, and it was told to pull over, we're boarding you. You know what they did? They went faster straight ahead. You know what they got? Naval relief, and that fast boat was pushed away. And then they sent a Shahed drone, it was picked up heading towards USS Abraham Lincoln. It was knocked out of the sky. It's a one-way drone. They're almost on a suicide. They're suicide drones, not to come back. And it was knocked out of the sky. What was the point of that? We'll discuss it in a moment. Who are the players in the region and what do they stand for? Well, there's going to be talks beginning today. They're going to take place in Oman. It's going to take place between Iran and the U.S. only. It was going to take place in Turkey. And it was going to have Egypt there and UAE and Saudi Arabia, perhaps, who is a rival of Iran. But all these countries have made it clear, at least publicly, they don't think we should be taking action in the region. They want us to go slowly and go into talks. And those talks are going to be discussing only one thing. And I don't think this is acceptable. Their nuclear program. So here to discuss this is somebody who really knows the region extremely well, worked there for years, Benjamin Hall. Ben, great to see you. Your thoughts about where this is heading as our assets spread out throughout the region?
Look, I think first of all, Iran is playing with fire at the moment. They've got these talks on Friday, but I think that they have shot themselves in the foot. They've made it very clear they're only going to talk about their nuclear program. President.
And you know, the thing is, when World War III pops off and boots are on ground and the draft happens, you know, America's going to get slaughtered over there. Going to get his ass kicked over there in the Middle East, man. The so-called Middle East. So people right now, you know, you can see the nostrils flaring on these heathens out there when they talk about how they took Venezuela and all of that. You know what I mean? You can see the pride. Like, they think that, you know, they brandishing their sword. Well, let's see how World War III unravels.
Trump and the administration made it very clear they want to talk about limiting their missiles. They want to talk about proxies, ceasing their financing of proxies. Iran's not going to talk about that. And so they are coming to the table to discuss two different issues. And I think President Trump is not going to be fooled the way the Obama regime was fooled. Talk for 20 months over nuclear. Something has to happen quickly, and it won't. And so I think that Iran is on its knees. You see the protests. You see the economy all down low. You see the armada of U.S. missiles and ships around it. I think that the talks won't go very well. And after that, I think there will be some action.
So it looks like we've bolstered up our defense platforms, and some of the targets of us could be our bases in Qatar. It could be some of our presence over in Iraq amongst the Iranian militias. But for the President of the United States, he also sent the C-130s there. They could be used for sea, ocean, for rescue operations. Do you believe our assets are in place? Do you believe the Israeli assets are in place?
We've been watching a lot of the planes flying over. We've, a lot of reports that the THAAD, the Patriot missile defenses are in place at this point. I think that the naval aspect is important because Iran's greatest weapon is still shutting the Straits of Hormuz. I think what they feel their greatest strength is if the U.S. attacks and they can shut the Straits of Hormuz, even temporarily, they can get oil prices up to $150, $200 a barrel. And at that point, they think President Trump might have to pull back. So what's happening in the Straits of Hormuz in the Navy, I think, is really critical right now. But
Really, he would. Millions of barrels of oil come through the Strait of Hormuz like every day, every single day. Oil prices will skyrocket if they shut that down or just make it dangerous. I heard that they might put chain bombs under there. So in case, you know, when their ships, USS whatever, is over there, you know, floating around. So, hey, there you can see gas prices soar up. Like, you talking about $6, $7, $8 gas prices, and you in somewhere like in the woods some damn where it shouldn't even be like that. So, hey, we're in some exciting times, and we're this close to the end. Let's not forget the famine has to hit too, and the famine has to be so bad that people start eating themselves, their family. Movie The Road is a beautiful movie to watch if you want to see how bad the famine could potentially get, even though it's going to be worse than the movie. But that is a good movie to watch, man. How bleak and sad and dystopian it is, man. Yeah. But okay.
yes, they're going to respond, first of all, by attacking missile bases in the U.S., or rather, U.S. bases in the region. And I think the U.S. is prepared for that. Israel certainly is prepared for that, and their patriots are ready.
Here's the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, yesterday on what could be taking place in these talks and what we would do.
This is the ultimate.
Well, I'm going to take that as my cue. Basically, they just want to reiterate the same thing. You know, they want to talk about the nuclear missile defense program, or their nuclear program, and also the ballistic missile defense program. And proxy groups, they want them to disarm, so forth and so on, stop enriching uranium. And the Iranians are not going to talk about that. That's not something that they're going to negotiate. And then, you know, Iran wants them to take all their sanctions off of them and other things. And America says they're not going to do that. So, hey, they ain't going to take place. The negotiations are going to take place, but the signing of a deal, an agreement is not going to take place. And if Trump is saying if they don't agree on something, there will be an attack. Well, we're just moments away from an attack. But this is just a brief news update. Your brother Yai Quab coming at you real quick. All right, I hope it was edifying. I hope you could take something from this. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.